Hey, it's the Empire, Jew Boxing Empire, Backshot Boxing. Now, my boy Kieth, one time Thurman. I gotta I'm not afraid to let it go. My boy, one fight ago, he was undefeated pre Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, and he was on a roll, man. He had a WBC title and WBA title. He was on a roll, man, running through the welterweight division, and he was seen as that guy. Now, that aura and that charisma of Kieth one time Thurman was, it's so shocking. It's such a big deal that even to this day, he's still a commentator for the PBC, along with Showtime Sean Porter, some of the most two animated fighters in the welterweight division, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring as well. Me personally, I think more outside the ring. Showtime Sean Porter is such a big name. He has his own podcast. Kieth one time Thurman, he could easily do the same thing. And there's been rumblings with Kieth one time Thurman saying he wants to fight Gervonte Tank Davis. Now, he said this on Fight Hype and then on the Boxing Voice, but he said that he's interested in Jermell Charlo and Gervonte Tank Davis. Now, it seems bizarre that Kieth one time Thurman will call out someone like Gervonte Tank Davis, but obviously there's been mention of this. Everyone knows that in the PBC, if you pay attention at least, that Al Heyman will give you a list of fighters who you can fight next. Gervonte Tank Davis had to be on that list for Kieth one time Thurman, and he said, what? And he started licking his lip and said, yeah, I want that boy right there. I want that boy right there with a side of salt. Now, this is a really big deal, man. And me personally, I think that my boy Floyd Mayweather sees something in Kieth one time Thurman that no one else sees. Now, if you don't know, man, Kieth one time Thurman and Floyd Mayweather, they were supposed to fight at one point when Kieth one time Thurman was the WBA champion. He was calling out Floyd heavy, and Floyd's like, you know what? Listen, if you want to fight me, man, fight Errol Spence Jr. Fight Errol Spence Jr. and you can get me, champ. And Kieth Thurman made every excuse in the book not to make the fight happen with him and Errol Spence Jr. Hence the reason why Errol Spence Jr. does not like Kieth one time Thurman to this day. So that being said, man, I understand that basically, while Errol Spence Jr. was not signed to Floyd, he said that, man, he's seen something in Errol Spence Jr. that could overtake a Kieth one time Thurman. Now that has been said, Floyd Money Mayweather promotes and manages Gervonte Tank Davis. He's with the money team. He's with the bag. You dig? And he thinks that, you know what? We should put Gervonte Tank Davis in with my boy Kieth one time Thurman. And it's shocking. And like I said earlier, Kieth one time Thurman wouldn't come out with this unless it's a feasible fight. So that being said, there's been a lot of rumblings that Gervonte Tank Davis is ducking guys like a Teofimo Lopez, like Vasily Lomachenko. And if Gervonte Tank Davis fights Kieth one time Thurman, that's pound for pound number one kind of stuff right there. That would definitely elevate Gervonte Tank Davis in my book, number one pound for pound fighter. In my opinion, right now, he's already a top pound for pound fighter. You can easily have him top 10. Fill in the blank where you think he belongs. But just fight with Kieth one time Thurman, former unified champion 147, is a big deal because this is where legends are made. 147 division is deep. It's deep. It's deep over there, man. It's deep. So that being said, man, Floyd Money Mayweather sees something in Kieth Thurman that Gervonte Tank Davis may be able to beat this kid. Now, Gervonte Tank Davis is known for devastating body shots. You can look at the Mario Barrios fight with that left uppercut to the body, going a southpaw stance, hit him right in the solar plex. Took the air out of the Barrios and he just sat there and fell to his knees. That's the only thing he could do. And then he got up, but that was the beginning of the end for Mario Barrios. Kieth one time Thurman, the thing is, he has a glass body. Some people say you got glass chin, but the kid, he has a glass body. And, Gervonte Tank Davis thinks he can exploit him. Maybe he may not believe it, but Floyd does. And Floyd got Gervonte Tank Davis over the hump with Mario Barrios and said, if you want to be great, show me how great you are. And he stepped it up against Kieth one time Thurman, which was shocking. Floyd is a man of few words. People wouldn't call this guy a philosopher, but in the sport of boxing, that's his world. That's his domain. He's basically like a god in the sport of boxing. And when he speaks, words come into existence. Words become reality. And he made Gervonte Tank Davis step it up in that Mario Barrios fight and end Mario Barrios, undefeated WBA regular champion at 140, right? He spoke words into existence, and Gervonte thought he was chilling. He thought he was winning the fight. It caused a ruckus in the corner. Everyone went wild. But all that being said, he got the job done, and it was all because of Floyd Mayweather. Let's be honest. So we're gonna see what happens with my boy Gervonte Tank Davis and Kieth one-time Thurman. But I personally think that Floyd sees something in Kieth one-time Thurman, because this isn't the first time that a Floyd connected fighter called out Kieth one-time Thurman on multiple occasions. Like I said earlier, first it was Errol Spence Jr., now it's Gervonte Tank Davis, and this will catapult Gervonte Tank Davis into superstardom. Floyd is not into building a guy slow with these bumps. That's not the Floyd route. A lot of people keep saying that, oh, Floyd's fighting, he's cherry picking everybody. No, these are big fights. And Floyd's like, okay, we're gonna make you a star. What's the quickest way to make you a star? Oh, one time Kieth Thurman? Yeah, that guy. We're gonna make that guy fight our guy. And if Gervonte wins his fight, he'll definitely be the biggest star in boxing. There's no doubt about it. If he beats one-time Thurman, that's such a big task, such a big deal. And I regard Kieth Thurman highly. Me personally, that's a tough fight for Gervonte Tank Davis. And when I mean tough, I think he would be the underdog in that fight. That's an underdog fight for for Gervonte. That's the kind of fight that will elevate Gervonte. He'll zoom past Lomachenko. He'll zoom past Devin Haney. He'll zoom past Teofimo Lopez. Zoom past Ryan Garcia, and he'll be a star. He'll be a bigger star than any of those guys combined. No doubt about it. Because that would just solidify him as they call him Mini Mike Tyson. That basically legitimizes that name. That would be one of his mini aliases outside of being Gervonte the Tank Davis. So let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Do you guys think Floyd sees something weak in Kieth one-time Thurman? I do. This is not the first time that Floyd has told Kieth one-time Thurman to fight one of his big dogs, and Kieth one-time Thurman got a list from my boy Al Heyman and said, hey man, listen, you can fight Jamel, you can fight fill in the blank, or you can fight my boy Gervonte Tank Davis. And Kieth Thurman's eyes widened up and said, oh my God, give me Tank. And Tank, man, Tank take this fight, man. He's a bad guy. This is the kind of fight where everyone's gonna be rooting for Tank if he takes this fight. This is David versus Goliath, and nobody, as they say, roots for Goliath. It's all gonna be about David, and David will be Gervonte Tank Davis, no doubt. So let me know how you guys feel about it, though. If they fight, man, this would definitely be one of the biggest fights of the year. This would be some Kell Brook Triple G type stuff right here. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Boxing Empire. Peace.